In the headlines, flood displaces 40,000 people in Jigao communities. NAPTIP rescues 19 suspected survivors of human trafficking in Kano. Court sacks Taraba APC governorship candidate Boacha, others fresh primary. And on the foreign scene, national mourning ends in Britain after Queen's funeral. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. We begin in Jigawa State, where over 40,000 people have been displaced by a flood disaster in about 14 local government areas of the state. Victims camping in various public schools across the state say they have lost farmlands and farm produce and that they have nowhere else to go. Trust TV's Northwest correspondent Idris Jibril reports that authorities say over 90 people have so far been killed. Details of that will come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, commuters plying the Yola-Mubi Highway, the gateway to the northern state of Adamawa, have called for urgent intervention to ease movement of goods and services. The call was followed a flood caused by torrential rains in the early hours of Monday. The early morning rainfall flooded a large portion of the Yola-Mubi Highway, cutting off the capital Yola from the northern part of Adamawa State. Commuters traveling from Yola to major northern Adamawa towns such as Song, Gombe, Hong, Mubi, Michika and Madagali, among others, had to stop on both sides of the flooded portion near Jabi Lamba. Travelers appealed to government at all levels, especially the federal government, to fix the road and save users from the stress associated with the bad nature of the road.
The problem is the overcrowding, the blockage in the highway along Yola-Mubi Road. We are out for the school monitoring. Today is the official resumption date of our schools, both primary and secondary schools. So we are out to monitor to ensure that the strict compliance and the resumption of the students. Kurokulama Nomadic Primary School is overflooded. We have to stop our students to come in for their safety, for our safety, and for the safety of the students. So this school cannot resume today.
For this morning, I'm expected to be there by 8 o'clock in the office. But unfortunately, due to the floods, I'm not able to go. And I try to communicate my people there. All network failure and other things.
19 survivors of human trafficking have been rescued by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Kano office. Zonal Commander of the agency, Abdullahi Babale, said this in Kano on Tuesday. Babale told newsmen that the survivors were those rescued in the state between September 13th and 18th by the Joint Border Task Force, adding that the suspected trafficker was also arrested during the joint operation. He disclosed that the survivors were recruited from Abia, Kaduna, Lagos, Ebonyi, Edo, Imo, Ondo, Oyo, Ogun, Enugu and Kogi states. According to Babale, the suspected trafficker is an indigent of Kano and was taking the victims to Libya for commercial sex and labor exploitation, while the survivors were between the ages of 18 to 32 years. The zonal commander also disclosed that 18 of the survivors were female, while one was a male. The Nigeria Immigration Service has assured families of late Kulsum Buhari, killed by her Chinese lover, that justice will ultimately prevail. Kano State Controller of the service, Mustafa Ahmed, gave the assurance when he paid a condolence visit to the family. Ahmed said his men arrested the Chinese at the scene of the crime and handed him over to the police with all exhibits that were recovered from him. Mother of the deceased, Fatima Jibril, thanked the controller for the condolence visit, saying the family is still in shock over the incident. Meanwhile, 10 suspects, including a dismissed operative of the Department of State Services, DSS, have been arrested for robbing a bullion van in Abia State. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Janet Agebe, who disclosed this on Monday at a press conference in Umuahia, identified the ex-DSS operative as Prosper Israel from Abia State. Israel was paraded on Monday alongside 9 other suspects at the police headquarters in the state capital, 2 months after the robbery. Reports say the suspects were part of a 14-man robbery gang that ambushed a bullion van near Tiga Junction and on the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway on July 26, 2022. Exhibits recovered from the suspects included one general-purpose machine gun, 13 AK-47 rifles, one cut-to-size double-barrel gun with 5 live cartridges, and 84 AK-47 magazines, among others. The Federal High Court sitting in Jalingo has nullified the governorship primary election that produced Senator Emmanuel Bwacha as the candidate of the APC in the 2023 election. Justice Amobeda, in his ruling in a case filed by one of the governorship aspirants, Chief David Sabo Kente, directed the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to conduct a fresh governorship primary in the state within 14 days. The court also ordered Bwacha to stop parading himself as the governorship candidate of the APC and INEC to stop recognizing Bwacha as a candidate. Justice Amobeda described as inappropriate the alleged false declaration of results at the Dambaba Sunte Airport, Jalingo, before jetting out of the state via private jet by the returning officer. Reacting to the judgment, counsels for the APC and sacked candidate stated that they will study the judgment before either proceeding to appeal court or submitting to a fresh primary. Meanwhile, a federal high court in Abuja has ruled that ex-Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido and his co-defendants have a case to answer in the 712 million naira money laundering charges filed against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC is prosecuting Lamido on 37 amended charges, alongside 2 of his sons, Aminu and Mustafa Lamido. Other defendants include Aminu Abubakar, a business associate to the Lamidos, and 4 companies. The former governor had filed a no-case submission after the EFCC closed his case, stating that the evidence provided by the prosecution did not disclose any case against him. However, ruling on the no-case submission, Justice Ejoma Ojukwu dismissed his claim, ordering him to open his defense on November 8th. Candidates aspiring to represent Kwara South Senatorial District at the National Assembly have pledged to tackle the rising security challenge and poverty in the area if elected. They made the pledge in Ilorin during a debate organized by the Kwara South Consultative Youth Forum. The report.
The debate was organized by some Kwara South youths to fill the polls of those aspiring to represent them either at the Senate or House of Representatives. It was also an avenue for the organizers to intimate the aspiring National Assembly members of the needs of the people of the district.
We organize it because we need good governance, and it is high time we realize this. The majority of our representatives needs to know why they are representing us. And it is good time to let them realize that you are representing us, you are not representing yourself. And that is why we come up with this type of program. We want to let them know that we exist.
The people lament the security challenges in the area is discouraging investment. They stress the need to promote policies that will protect lives and property and address the high rate of armed robbery and kidnapping in the area. The candidates who identified unemployment and attendant poverty, especially among the youth, called for the establishment of farm settlements to encourage youths in agriculture.
There's a general skepticism amongst our people. Loss of hope and faith in the process, lack of trust and frustration, economic hardship. Our people, even when they are employed, they are underemployed. You're working 2-3 jobs, but you don't have enough money to feed yourself or your family. So there's a lot of underemployment, unemployment. 7 out of 10 of our youth are unemployed. It's a problem, big problem.
For the traditional rulers, politicians need to prioritize the welfare of their people.
I believe it's because of level of poverty we find ourselves. I believe it's because of the bad leadership we have been producing, or maybe bad leadership that they are producing themselves every time. So please, I will just advise you when you get there, do what you can do maximally for your people to lift people out of poverty.
Kwara South Senatorial District comprises 7 local government areas, namely Ekiti, Okeoro, Ofa, Ifelodun, Irepodun, Isin, and Oyun.
And the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, Kennedy Ibe, has resigned his position as the Speaker of the House. Though the reason for his resignation has not been made public, the House, led by the Deputy Speaker, Amarachi Nwanyau, has gone ahead to elect a new Speaker, Emeka Nduka, member representing the people of Iheme Mbano State Constituency. Presenting the new Speaker to Governor Hope Uzodimma at Government House in Owerri, the lawmakers highlighted the reasons for their actions. The Governor, in his remark, assured them of his continued support in ensuring that they have facility for effective legislature.
Also commend the wisdom of the former Speaker, who have told us protected the new Speaker. It is a big matter. Our democracy is growing, and by the grace of God, things like this are done without traffic.
And I would like to step down and we swore in Emeka Nduka as the new Speaker of the House of Assembly. Your Excellency, immediately after that election, and the plenary we went into executive session, where we decided that we should come and present the new Speaker.
I'm not going to disappoint them, that by the special grace of God, that I'm going to live up to their expectations and up to the expectations of the people of Imo State and to the executive arm of government. I also said that the harmonious synergy that is existing already with the legislative arm and the executive arm will be a continuum to make sure that we give the people of Imo State the best dividends of democracy.
You're still watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come on the news, we look at the alarming addiction of smokers. This and so much more after the break. Do stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Flood displaces 40,000 people in Jigawa communities. And NAPTIP rescues 19 suspected survivors of human trafficking in Kano. And moving on to more news now, the federal government says strategies have been put in place for the reduction of severe preventable medication-related harm by 50% in the next 5 years. Minister of Health Osagie Ohanire stated this in Abuja on Monday at a press conference to commemorate the 2022 World Patient Safety Day. Ohanire, who was represented by the Director of Hospital Services, Adepimpe Adebi, at the ministry, said the reduction will be by making improvements at each stage of the medication process, including prescribing, dispensing, administering, monitoring, and use. According to him, underreporting of medication errors is also an issue. Ohanire further disclosed that Nigeria was already working to develop its national policy and strategy on patient safety and quality of care. Now, despite the clear dangers associated with smoking, quite a lot of people cutting across all ages indulge in the habit. Some smokers have been smoking for years, since they were quite young, and have a lot of years of experience feeding the habit, while others have just been encouraged to take up the smoker's lifestyle, unaware of how much of an impact it will have on their lives. Jimmy Azande looks at the huge burden associated with the smoking habit.
A large percentage of Benue residents still smoke. Alarmingly, many of the residents who have taken on the habit are young, and it will seem that many of them have no intention of dropping the habit.
Smoking started from inside kitchen. Our mother they smoke from inside kitchen. So meanwhile, women with outside they smoke. So smoke no be bad thing. The problem we will get for this street, we say and work no day. If work day, we dey smoke for section. Everybody they smoke. So smoke is good. And they smoke for USA, smoke for Canada, smoke for Jamaica, smoke for Anambra. Even for Benue State here, we see they smoke.
I just feel when I'm tensed up, I take it out.
They make me like say so many times I dey think about of life, something like that. My father, my mother, so many my friends. But me, my if I they do the thing I they think, how they see people for life.
Ironically, many of the smokers are aware of the financial burden that comes with the habit and are even aware of the consequences or health implications. But these smokers say there is no cause to worry.
Health implication for smoke, we say, my brother, make you chop belly food before you smoke. No carry hungry, they smoke. If you carry hungry, they smoke, you go die very young. Before you smoke cigarette, make sure you don't chop apple with or rice soup or rice and beans, you know, this kind 700 naira plate, you know, with small chicken hand, you know, before you go smoke.
While some smokers are already starting to experience some discomfort in their bodies, they cannot stop because they are already addicted to it.
At times I feel my liver, my lungs are too heavy. I can't move fast. So I take this soda water to calm it down.
Tunde just, you know good. You know good.
Health experts said the consequences of smoking are grievous and addiction can be controlled to save lives.
The cancer of the liver, it causes a stroke, it causes diabetes, it causes damage to the body. And so it's true that when these organs are being damaged, you are liable to die young. You cannot live long. It's not good to be smoking. It's not food. You can't do without it. And those of you that have been smoking, I want to advise you to try and quit from it because it is life-threatening.
There's a template on packs of cigarettes that warns that smokers are liable to die young. But in spite of the warnings and the health implications, the number of smokers of cigarettes and other substances is alarming.
A community development group in Gombe State, Sir Ahmadu Bello Community Development Association, wants Governor Inuwa Haya to accelerate the execution of the Gombe Capital Special Development Zone. The leadership of the association made the appeal during a visit to Gombe State Geographic Information System, GOGIS. The Gombe Capital Special Development Project is a multi-billion naira project proposed by Governor Inouye Yahaya, aimed at provisions of critical infrastructure, including a State Secretariat complex, a State High Court, and House of Assembly complex. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The leadership of the Sir Ahmadu Bello Community Development Association, which commended the state government for initiating the Gombe Capital Special Development Zone, has reached out to the Director General Gombe Geographic Information System, GOGIS, Dr. Kabir Usman Hassan, to facilitate erection of proper layout in Wuro Liman, which forms part of the Gombe Capital Special Development Zone.
We are applauding their work because they have done very well. They did the verification and they were able to solve problems related to land dispute. And we are here as an association from our own quarters, that is Sir Ahmadu Bello quarters, based on the fact that government has already decided that they are going to incorporate us in their mega city. And based on that, we are appealing to them to make a very good layout for us. It has been long that government has suspended work from our area, that structures that are there already were allowed to stay there, and those that have not developed their land were told to hold on until the actual plan is out.
Responsible for the management and administration of lands, GOGIS wants members of Wuro Liman to ensure compliance to the land laws and shun blockage of access road.
We have told them not to continue with building because the layout has been provided. The layout is awaiting for implementation by the Executive Governor of Gombe State. So what we want from the community is to wait for the government process. You know, when you are looking for something in government, you have to wait for the process because it's a process from one stage to another. We have to send their message to His Excellency or to deliver their message to the Executive Governor of Gombe State that they are appealing for the layout which we have done to them for implementation.
As the #1 in ease of doing business in Nigeria, Gombe State is rapidly growing. Thus, the need for proper layout to ensure buildings are erected in line with global best practice in urban areas. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting.
The average price of 5 kilograms of cooking gas increased from 4,397 naira in July 2021 to 4,456 naira in August 2022. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed this in its Cooking Gas Price Watch issued on Tuesday in Abuja. According to the report, the price in August indicated a 1.34% increase on a month-on-month basis from what was obtained in July. The report added that Tarawa recorded the highest average price of 4,925 naira for 5 kilograms of cooking gas, while Katsina State recorded the lowest price of 4,020 naira in August. Analysis by geopolitical zones shows that the North Central recorded the highest average retail price of 4,615 naira, while the Northwest recorded the lowest retail price of 4,285 naira. Now for a look at the foreign scene, where flags on British government buildings around the world are flying at full mast once again, as the period of national mourning following the death of Queen Elizabeth II draws to a close. The Queen was buried in a private ceremony in Windsor on Monday evening following a state funeral in London and military procession to Windsor Castle. But the royal family will continue to observe another week of mourning. Senior royals are not expected to carry out any public duties during this time. Flags at royal residences will remain at half-mast until 8 a.m. British Central Time on the 27th of September, the day after their mourning period ends. Buckingham Palace has said royal household staff, representatives of the household on official duties and troops committed to ceremonial duties will also observe the extended mourning period. An intensive cleanup operation is underway after hundreds of thousands of people across the UK flocked to London to watch the Queen's funeral. And in sports, the world record set by Toby Amuson in the women's 100-meter hurdles semi-final at the Athletics Championship in Oregon in July of this year has been ratified by the World Athletics, previously known as IAAF. This was disclosed on the athletics body official website via a statement on Tuesday. Amusan had run a time of 12.12 seconds, defeating former world record holder Kendra Harrison, who had set the world record in the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 12.20 seconds in 2016 at the London Muller Anniversary Games. The time of 12.12 seconds makes it official world record to beat at the women's hurdles. Amusan became the first Nigerian world champion in an athletics event when she won the 2022 World Athletics Championship 100-meter hurdles gold medal. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.